Alrighty, so before we get to looking at part one of the review for this number 23 and begin our road in terms of looking at 14 games where I'm going to split the review into two parts again, let us actually look at the Sunday night soccer game between St. Louis City versus the Portland Timbers because this was pretty much the only game that was on today and I was able to watch this game in full. And in the end, it was the same scoreline as last time when both of these teams play against each other on Sunday Night Soccer, and also not just the same scoreline, but just also kind of the same outcome where the visiting side got the lead in this one, but like things were going to go well, and then the home team kind of stormed back, especially in the second half. And in the case of St. Louis City, they definitely stormed back in a big way in the second half. Kind of look a little bit like the St. Louis that we saw in their incredible first season that they had in their MLS existence. Now, in the first half, 4 minutes in, Teuscher with the game's first shot, but he puts it wide after he was trying to chip the keeper. I thought St. Louis was on the front foot dictating the play, which is not a big surprise. I was kind of expecting that this was going to be the case, especially the fact that the Timbers love to sit in a mid block and trying to look for those transitional moments as they always do when they're playing on the road. Crepeau would then deny Totland from close. It was a shout for a penalty for St. Louis, not given. Wallen would then miss wide from close range. I thought it was very end early in this one. I mean, it was very fast paced from the beginning. It at times turned it into a bit of a track meet, but in the 18th minute, the Timbers takes the lead. It's Da Costa. He scored for Moreno to make it 1-0 in favor of the Timbers. So in some way, in terms of the game, that when it kind of turns into a track meet, that kind of favors the Timbers. The Timbers definitely love to go in a bit of a track meet, especially when they like the transitional attack. But yeah, they take a 1-0 lead after 18 minutes in. Teuscher did look to respond, and he actually went down here thinking that he won himself a penalty, but it was not given. I thought maybe they were going to go to VAR to see if that was a foul. Certainly, some of the St. Louis fans thought that that should have been a foul, but nothing was given there. I thought St. Louis definitely regained the control of this game, and we're looking for the equalizer. Teuscher would hit one right to Crepeau before Ostrak would hit it right to Crepeau in the 40th minute. The shots were 7-2 for St. Louis up to this point, and they definitely put a lot of shot on target, but most of these chances aren't really hard for Crepeau to deal with. On the other end, Berkey had to deny DaCosta of his second on the doorstep of goal, and that was a big save there from Roman Berkey because DaCosta, he got himself in a good spot there, and Berkey was just some cat-like reflexes there to make that save. I mean, for any other goalkeeper, that would have been a difficult save. I think for that, in the quality of that Roman Berkey can produce, that he just make that look easy. Wallen would then hits it right to Crepeau in the 43rd minute before Pompeo would puts it wide from close in the first minute of stoppage time. And despite the fact that St. Louis outshot the Timbers 10-3 in the first half, it's Portland that has the lead heading into the second half. Now in the second half, Berkey would deny Da Costa from close before Oshag would puts one just high. As I thought both of these teams was exchanging some possession. You kind of had a sense that maybe one of these teams is going to get that crucial second goal of the game. And St. Louis was able to do so, and most importantly, get the equalizer not long after I wrote that. As in the 54th minute, Marcel Harto would score to make it 1-1 in this one. He rifled that one on the volley from close range. Not great defending there from the Portland Timbers, especially from Finn Sermon. Not clearing his lines there, put it right into the path of Harto there. But you just kind of had a sense the momentum was with St. Louis now. They were pushing hard to get their goal. I mean, for most part of this game, St. Louis was the better team, and you can sense that now that they have the equalizer, they're going to push even harder to try to get that lead. Crepeau would deny Leuven from the free kick, but then just a couple of minutes, or not just a couple of minutes, but just really the next sequence of play, Marcel Hardo would score from Wallen to make it 2-1 in favor of St. Louis City, and yeah, you just kind of saw that coming. The pressure was kind of mounting on this Timber side, and they finally buckle. Betcher would then puts it high after just another bad turnover from the Timbers. St. Louis was definitely feeling it. Again, this definitely looked like the St. Louis of the old, and for the Timbers, they're just kind of crumbling in this second half, both on the offense and especially on the defensive side. Though in the 73rd minute, Argella had a shot that was deflected and goes wide before DaCosta would hits it right to Berkey off of a deflection. The Timbers did start to get themselves back into this game, and this is also kind of a good time to remind everyone that yeah, St. Louis has had their issue when it comes to closing out game. They mentioned on the broadcast that they are the team that gave up the second most goal in the final 15 minutes of the game. Only the Galaxy have given up the most goal in the remaining part of the last 15 minutes. So yeah, if you're a St. Louis fan, I mean, especially when you only have a 1 goal lead, that's never a short thing with this team, especially with the amount of times they find ways to blow the lead late in the game. Leuven would then puts it wide from close range. St. Louis was really starting to drop their lines and looking to try to seal this one, which I mean, I don't know if that's a good thing if you to do, especially if you're a St. Louis fan, knowing that, yeah, with them dropping the lines a little bit and kind of almost playing in that prevent defense kind of mode, this is when you just kind of sense, are they going to give up a late goal again because of playing that? Mascara would then puts it wide from close before Klaus try to finish it, but he puts it right to Crepeau. Leuven would then puts it wide from close in the 5th minute of stoppage time, but for once, St. Louis is able to close out and get the 3 points. It did not give up a goal in the last 15 minutes of play. They get the 2-1 win in this one. It's only the fourth win of the season, only their second under Dave Critchley. The shots in this one, I mean, they pretty much dominated the shot. 21 shots for the 10 that the Timbers had, 4 shots on goal for the 8 that St. Louis had. St. Louis then had 8 shot off target for the 2 that the Timbers had, 4 shots that was blocked for the 3 that St. Louis had, and possession wise, 52% possession compared to the 48% possession the Portland Timbers has in this game. A much better performance in this one for St. Louis, and a performance that there's still a very long way in terms of trying to get themselves in the playoff race, and I don't think they have enough in terms of trying to get themselves back into it. Though it is also important to note that Leuven came back to this team, and you can see how when he came back to this team, you saw how much the energy really rise with this team. They really miss his present throughout the season. He's been in and out of the lineup throughout the season, and yeah, we'll see if he is able to stay healthy for the rest of the season. Just maybe St. Louis can make a little bit of a late push. I mean, we're kind of getting to that point of the season where with them being just so far behind, even if they're gonna make another crazy run like they did last season, somehow able to get themselves on a really good run to get themselves close to a playoff position, I think it's a little too far for them to able to get to it. But yeah, well, it's a good win for St. Louis. For Portland, yeah, this is the problem that they've been having these last couple of weeks. The inconsistency is becoming a problem for this team, and I think this is also something that we also seen with Phil Neville's team in the past as well, where inconsistency has always been a problem for Phil Neville's side, even during his time with Inter Miami. And I'm not just talking about how they went on a winning streak and then followed by a losing streak. There's times where this team can like win one and then lose one and so forth. And this is another example of it. They just didn't play well in this game. Nothing like they did in this game compared to when they were able to get the win against the New England Revolution at home. But there you have it. That is pretty much it for the review of this Sunday night soccer game. As I mentioned, I'm gonna be working on doing the review of the first 8 game from Matchweek number 23, and then tomorrow we'll look at the last 6 game that is. And man, we definitely had some very interesting storylines in terms of some of these Saturday night game, and especially I don't think I'm gonna be talking about the Hellersville Derby, at least in part one of the review, but I would definitely be talking about that game because man, that game had some fireworks in that one between those two Ohio team. But either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.